tonight. You might be listening by the phone today. You might be in the audience, and maybe you're not really quite sure about President Trump. Maybe you like his policies, but you don't like his personality. I've had people say that. Well, if you got attacked viciously like he did.
So you kind of see the way this guy is. He's almost talking about Trump as if he is Jesus Christ of Nazareth, his Lord and Savior. So, you know, you can see why I picked this one. He is having a very tough time. This is Hank Kunnemen. He's having quite the time with these indictments and is going on a prophecy meltdown. I don't even know what to call it, but it's unbelievably entertaining. So guess we're let's go. All right, so let's see here. I gotta let me get the overlay out of here, and yeah, so I got this. I found this video. I've been like on a tear, just looking for any any content I can find where these MAGA pastors are just losing their minds about the indictments, and I've found quite a few. So I might be able to do this for a while. Actually, next I found it sucks though having to go through all this stuff, but it's worth it in the end because you find like the exact video that's just hilarious. So in this one, I have another one too of Robin Bullock. He's like the rock star, like he looks like Kid Rock kind of. I got him coming up probably tomorrow or the next day. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, so let's listen to this guy freak out.
And it was really amazing because 2 weeks ago we were going to do this pulse, and we were going over these prophecies. And after the indictment that they brought against President Trump, 34 different things that they really don't know, even the legal experts on the other side said, come on, what is this? There's no weight to this. This really has no weight. And they're all trying to.
He's like unable to really think, it seems like. Do they even say it doesn't have weight? And another way to phrase that would be, it's the weight's not there. Fuck, I'm so angry.
Turning into felonies and blah, blah, blah. The Lord began to deal with me as I was praying for President Trump and for all this. God said to me, he said, go back and tell the people, remind them what I have said, and go back and look at why is this man, Donald Trump. Okay, first of all, they tried. Now, you might be watching tonight. You might be listening by the phone today. You might be in the audience. And maybe you're not really quite sure about President Trump. Maybe you like his policies, but you don't like his personality. I've had people say that. Well, if you got attacked viciously like he did and has been, what would your personality be like? And
it's so weird. It reminds me of like when, I don't know if you've ever heard like I heard a lot of preaching growing up, right? And one of the things that they would say just constantly, it seemed, is like, maybe you thought you had a relationship with Jesus. Maybe you've heard of Jesus. Maybe you think he seems like a nice guy. Maybe you know the secular Jesus, but you don't know the true one. Like, that's exactly what this sounds like, but for fucking Donald Trump. Like, how weird, man.
And last night on Flashpoint, it was such an honor for Pastor Gene to
Flashpoint is this like Kenneth Copeland funded show that's like a bunch of MAGA pastors just being insane a lot and near each other. I don't know.
Interview President Trump, and of course we were part of that panel. And Lance Wallnau said something very, very amazing. He said, Pastor Gene, how did you get President Trump to really open up and for the people to see the man?
As opposed to the myth or the legend, I guess. I don't know what it is.
And it's because Pastor Gene wasn't combative. How many of you are defensive when somebody's trying to take you and box you? You know,
You're literally his prophets. Of course not. Like, of course you're not combative. Like, you're you're the most fucking ass kissy like phone call he could possibly have. Of course he wants to like have that conversation.
so you can't just look. You got to look at why are they attacking this man so much. So that's what I want to accomplish tonight. Is, you know, people say, well, don't worship that. Give me a break, okay? Don't be an idiot and post that, because that really does reveal idiocity. This isn't about
Idiocity. That's not a word, man. Nope. That's not how you say that thing. It's either idiocy, or if you're talking about a movie, idiocracy, you know. But you said no, that's not a thing. That's not a word there. Nope.
out of worship. We worship Jesus Christ and we honor him, but we do know honor, and the Bible is full of honor. So if you write that, you need to understand what honor is, because you wouldn't write that if you really understood what honor is. We are to honor. And God raised up President Trump for a reason. And I'm not here.
Yeah, it just said viciously attacked. It's not an attack if it's consequences. Yeah, exactly.
To just give you my opinion. I'm here to tell you prophetic words that God had planned this a long time ago, all the way back to 9/11, that he had a plan. He called it a mystery that would rise up out of the place of New York where the towers were attacked, and he would raise up a mystery to the point where God tells you it'll be somebody there that is born and from New York City will be this mystery. Then he goes on and tells you when it's going to happen.
What the fuck does any of this mean? God will raise up a mystery. That's not a thing that gets raised up, man. That doesn't make any sense. Like, nobody's in New York going, oh, look at that mystery. It's been raised up. No, what are you talking about? It's just it's like
there's no way.
These prophetic like nonsense, just like they just grab onto stuff that they had said before and they try to like tie it to other things. It's just pattern seeking gone amok.
Hey, you can deny that God's hand is on President Trump, and it's why they're going after him so viciously. But also the prophecies reveal something. It reveals the level of spiritual warfare. Many times in these prophecies, you're going to hear God say,
and cheers, how many of you are combative when someone's trying to box you? I didn't even hear him say that. I'm sure he did. It's just funny. I'm not the kind of person people regularly want to box. Maybe some self-reflection. I don't know, right? Yeah, it's fucking weird.
They will hate the mystery when I unveil what I'm going to unveil because of the devils of darkness. All right, let's get in the first thing I want you to see.
Because of the devils of the darkness. All right, moving on. All right.
Let's just go into, I want to start with, let me see where I want to start. Okay, so I was going to give you a scripture, but let's just get into it.
Fuck all that Bible shit. Let's talk about Trump. Now, Trump is amazing and we love him. And
I want to get into these prophecies. I don't want to feel like I'm cramming. On the night of 9/11,
and if you want some cramming, you know, just go to adamandeve.com, enter code word Brently, and they got all sorts of shit to cram in all the holes that you can think of. Go to adamandeve.com, enter code word Brently, and you'll get 50% off almost any one item. 3 free gifts, 6 free movies, and free shipping. So yeah, go to adamandeve.com, enter code word Brently. So, anyway, too early for an ad break. All right, moving on.
No,
it was just too perfect. I couldn't.
How many of you? I know Rachel, you were here. Blackburns, you were here. Others were here. There, a few of you over here.
Is there a guy in the crowd with black sideburns that he just calls Blackburns? Because that'd be delightful. That's just hilarious, and I would appreciate that. Actually, it sounds like a character from an Adam Sandler movie. Is just like nodding with giant like black.
We met as a church. How many of you remember where you were at on 9/11? Okay, you probably know what you were doing. Those of you that are watching and listening by phone, we called for prayer that night, and I'll never forget it. We were right.
What is it like listening by the phone? Is that a thing that people do a lot? Is this like a it almost sounds like one of those what do you call it? Those infomercial things. You know, are you waiting by the phone? Well, make sure you call 1-900-743-395, whatever, you know. And it's like, it'll cost you $7 a minute or whatever, but like, do it.
Right in the middle of the sanctuary. And I think it used to face an opposite direction. If you remember that, yeah, it was facing that way.
Yeah.
And remember, we lined up in a line and we were holding hands. We were praying very intently. And the word of the Lord came and God began to prophesy. And it shocked me because there was such an anointing that came. And, you know, God was just using this vessel at that time with other national type words and different things.
This dude is he's so mad that he can't think. It seems like he keeps on just making little weird mistakes that I've watched this guy for a while, you know, and I've not seen him make these little like mistakes this often ever, you know. I swear, I think he's just losing it. He is going completely insane about these indictments here. This is so funny.
And all of a sudden, the Lord says, we're going to war with Afghanistan. We're going to war with Iraq, and it will not be right. Now, I don't know why he said it. Now, there's a lot of theories out there where people say, and I thank God for every veteran that is part of Desert Storm. Sometimes government gets our precious soldiers involved in things that sometimes is a political thing rather than make sense to.
Oh, sometimes. Yeah, sometimes that's it. You're right. But other times it's like one time when, you know, Germany was trying to take over the world, we're all like, yeah, those are the bad guys, right? That's a you know, unequivocal, like, we know those are the bad guys. But that's happened like once. Every other time it's been some fucking bullshit, you know.
You know, put human blood at risk, you understand, over various reasons. So God said it wouldn't be right. Then he goes on and says, and
he's got to like, that's funny too, that he has to like make that, put that whole defense in there just because, you know, he's trying to just do a prophecy and he's just finding patterns in things. And so he's trying to tie everything together. Right. But in doing that, he's having to like apologize because he's supposed to be in favor of all the war because, you know, Republican or whatever.
And the place here where New York was attacked, God says, I will raise up a president from this place that will be born and has been raised there in New York City, and he will bring this.
Honestly, yeah, to answer, say it's a Desert Storm way back in the 80s. Yeah, I don't know. He's tying everything. he's just saying stuff at this point. He's just mentioning things that have happened, and now he's trying to like, I don't know what that had to do with anything, but I think what he's trying to say is that somehow led to 9/11, and 9/11 happened in New York. Trump comes from New York, therefore the fucking prophecy. I don't know. It's nonsense.
Country back on course. God never told us in that prophecy, you guys were here, who it would be. He never said when it would be at that time. And he said, watch this, for each tower that fell, I shall grant a term. Well, there were 3 towers that fell. Now watch this. There was the one that was the World Trade Center.
This might be tying, so this is probably tied to another, one of his failed prophecies, right? About Trump, like getting to, because I think he's already done this. I think he's done the like, oh, they'll rise up from New York and it'll be a presidential term that matches the buildings that fell, right? And at first it was the 2 buildings, so it was the 2 terms. So he was like, he's definitely going to win a second term. Well, that didn't happen. So now he's like, oh, wait, there were 3 buildings that fell that day. You know? So he's like
larger
updating
tower.
it.
And then there was a smaller tower in between that got cut in half. It's like represents the term cut short, attacked, right? Didn't reach its full potential. But then there was another tower.
The tower that fell didn't meet its falling potential? Is that what you're saying? It didn't fall enough? And therefore, wow, dude.
Do you understand? And God was saying, because of what they've done, I'm going to raise up this one from New York, and I'm going to put this country back where it needs to be. And if you look at what happened on 9/11, there's a lot of theories and different things. We're not going to go into that. I will say this, from God's perspective, everything is not the way that it's been perpetrated. That's very important. So let's fast forward.
It sounds like he's post hoc prophesying. Good job. Yeah.
The next night, I have a dream at 4:45 in the morning. And I'll never forget it. I went into a really deep sleep. And in the dream, I saw this guy that they call Biden. And his face, watch this, his face. Now, you've heard me say this publicly for almost 3 years. His face
It's stupid.
changed 3 times. It was not the same face.
What?
Why would God show this man? It's not the same face. And his face kept changing. And I'm on record with that dream shortly after. Then
That doesn't mean anything, man. Nothing you just said was coherent, man. It's a dream. Dreams are fucking stupid, man. You know, it's great. Like, why would God show me this dream? Because you're obsessed with hating Biden. Of course, you saw his face change in a dream. What the hell are you talking about?
his face morphed into the face. And
Of
I've had
Satan.
Satan appear to me, but I've never had Satan appear to me and speak to me. That night, he appeared in the face of who they call Biden. And I don't care what you write. You've already written it and said it. Listen.
I'm going ultra dark Brandon today. This is my coffee. You know, that was his dream just now. That was
It's
it.
a dream. And God's talking. It doesn't matter what you write. God's
Who's
telling on you.
writing? What?
If it didn't bother you, you wouldn't even put an article behind it.
It's true.
So
Oh, he's wow. It's funny because he's learned not to like call out Right Wing Watch directly because they're like, hey, cool. Here's an article about how we got called out directly, and so he's like, you can write a fucking right wing. You people writing stuff. You fucking writing motherfuckers.
So here's what happens. God shows the face of Satan and he speaks, and out of his mouth through this guy that, you know,
Biden. Yeah, we
they
got it.
call Biden.
Holy shit.
He's talking about how he stole the election. He's going to do this and this and this and this and this to try to destroy our country. Why would God give me a dream about it? I don't know. But I saw a great celebration break out. And I watched how God was reversing things and beginning to reset things, even though it looked like it was evil. And then the word of the Lord came that night. And the reason that I'm
What
saying
are we
this tonight
skipping?
is there is a vindication that God wants because of the
Even the person that edited this video, this prophetic word, this is from something called prophetic word. Even they were like, okay, come on, get to the point. We're gonna have to skip. Like, let's just turn the block so that we can skip to the next part or whatever. Fucking geez, get to the point, Hank. Come on.
nonsense that's going on. Look at 2007, July 1st, slide 1. Let's get into it. Panel, get ready. All right, here we go. Spirit of God says, I want to share a mystery, says the Spirit, for there shall be a battle over
I think I need to. This isn't in the Bible. This isn't anything anywhere at all, anytime. It's just what he thinks. He wrote this down and then was like, God said that. That's it. That's all this is.
the city of New York. It shall be a battle for the White House. 2007. All right, now, fast forward. When was this battle for the White House? 2016. Hillary Clinton, right, was the one that was running against Donald Trump from New York City, and it was a battle for the what?
Whoa. For the White
And
House.
where are the
Oh
two
my
from?
God. Wow.
New
How
York.
does this work on people? How does this work? I'm fascinated by this. Who's sitting in the crowd like, oh my God, mind blown. I can't believe it. For New York? How did he do it? How did he even God? Because God told totes, man, damn. This guy's awesome. What?
Is what they represented. So can you see God's already saying, watch. Then he goes on, listen to the words of the Lord Most High, for there's a sound that comes before my throne. For even as the blood of Abel cried out in the Lord Most High, heard the sound of the cry of his blood. The Spirit says, when the towers were attacked, there was a sound, and there's a sound that still comes into the ears of the Lord Sabaoth. So the cries have come of those who were murdered at the hands of your enemy and my enemy. And he didn't identify fully who the enemy is.
Oh, that's it. So you get to decide who the enemy is then. I guess like is unlike all the words there that you decided what they were and everything, but you're leaving some out so that you can decide later.
Keep that in mind.
Crazy.
Let's keep reading. Listen to this. Slide 2.
I mean, who puts their prophecies on slides? I mean, come on, man. Jeez Louise, write a book or something. I don't know.
Notice what he says. I will raise up, read the red, I'll look at the red part. I will raise up a mystery. Notice he's talking, all right? A mystery.
Notice he's talking. Yup, he's using words. And, you know, a couple of words together is actually a sentence. Notice it. Notice that.
He's repeating what he said from 9/11. When 9/11 happened, God kept prophesying. Those of you in this church know it's before there was internet, you know, before there was live stream.
No.
God kept prophesying this mystery. How many of you remember that? And it was kind of getting old because he kept saying, I'm raising up a mystery from New York. So God's now telling us, for the blood is speaking a mystery from the place where the towers were attacked. So he's telling us, look to New York, your towers were attacked. And I'm going to show you that there's a mystery so that you won't question, yet you're touching the word of the Lord.
Okay, done. Like, moving on. Can we get past?
I will raise up a president
So
that
funny.
will come from the place where the enemy wounded your nation. So he's being very specific.
Hear that guy? Wow. That was just, whoa, buddy. How did you even come up?
He's telling us, look to New York. This is where this president will rise up. Notice again, 2016, 2 of the candidates, the Democratic candidate and the Republican candidate.
I'm so lost about this. When did he write this? Is he trying to say that he wrote this before and now it's coming true? Or did he literally write this on May 3rd, like when he's basically having this meltdown? He wrote it down. I'm so confused. I don't know. This is the dumbest shit ever. It's like,
Both from New York.
it reminds me of like a little kid, you know, playing with toys or something and being like, no, I decide how everybody plays, you know, and it's like now all the rules are like, they're just making up rules and stuff. It's like, but this is the adult version of that shit. You know?
Enemy thought it was going to be their pawn, Queen Jezebel. I will pay back from that place, and I will raise up a president for each tower that was attacked. In other words, he's talking about president. He's talking about a term, a president. And this is very significant that he would even use a president for each tower because there's been some interruption, the middle tower. All right, panel, is there any comments on these first 2
What
slides?
the fuck is he talking about a middle tower? Is he talking about like building 7 or whatever from the, you know, with the conspiracy stuff or whatever?
Before we go to the next one.
Yes, I find it.
As far he's got a panel, a prophetic pulse. Okay, Jesus Christ. And then you got this guy, he's a Packers fan, about to read something.
Interesting of that first slide where it says, so the cries have come of those who are murdered at the hands of your enemy and my enemy. Now, obviously, you have the enemy of who attacked the towers, but I also think about the enemy on which they said at the hands where they were murdered of the unborn. And so that led me to Planned Parenthood's website, which said in 1970, after New York State legalized abortion, the Planned Parenthood Health Center in Syracuse, New York, became the first Planned Parenthood health center to provide abortion services across the entire United States.
Wow.
So,
Wow, what?
as you were
What?
mentioning, Pastor Hank,
You just
about
read it to
this was taking place with President Trump in the battle for New York and the White House and how it's tied to everything. It's also a vindication for what? The children.
Oh my
so
God.
this runs.
Why do they do that so much? For the what? The children. That's right. Now, what are you doing, man? Is there anybody that's like, oh, the children? Like, hold on, I'm gonna get. I was trying to guess, and you totally just said it anyway.
Pretty deep, and it's interesting how God, it appears to me, is fighting a 2-front war.
Mm-hmm. And really, that's what
Two-front
people
war.
don't realize, that this was about and I said this in 2016, and people didn't understand. They didn't track with what God was saying, and maybe I didn't, clarify it enough, but I believe I did. And God said the reason that it was Clinton and Trump in 2016, first of all, 16 or the number 6 is a very significant number. It's why since 2016, nothing has seemed normal. The number 6 or 16 is the Hebrew word wa. In other words, the definition is wa, and it literally means a convergence of heaven and earth. That's why on
the number 6 is wa. It means convergence. A number means what? Wow. Wow. Something is not like something's not working.
What did you see? A convergence. God created man. He breathed into man. There's a convergence of heaven and earth coming together. But then you fast forward to Jesus's first miracle. There were 6 empty water pots that had what? A heavenly convergence. How did it turn from water to wine? Well, the heavenly touch, supernatural. So when 2016 came together, it was good versus evil. And I'm not talking.
It's so weird. This is like you're just the crazy guy this is crazy bus stop guy with way too much money. That's what this is. This is the bus stop guy that's like, oh, and the 7 is like also like the 7th Avenue. Oh my God, it's so it's that guy, but just with a lot of money and people like writing down the shit that he's saying and be like, this really matters. This is like something serious right here. Like,
talking about parties. I'm talking about look at the party platforms. Look at what the candidates represented. But it was more than that. And this is the part that people couldn't understand. It was about blood right. Who would own the blood right over the United States of America in the spirit realm? You say, Pastor, what do you mean? All right.
Yeah.
If you are still out trick-or-treating with your kids and you think that's okay, or let's just
time to do some Halloween shaming, I guess.
Do
totally
alternatives. Okay. Notice how the occult doesn't do alternatives. Okay. The church always does to try to smooth it over. Now I'm all for
the occult's not real, but people that aren't your religion don't freak out about stupid shit all the time. Of course, we don't need to do substitutes.
Harvest. I'm all for evangelism, but we got to get smart. To the occult realm, they understand Halloween. They understand blood sacrifice. They understand the power that is
you guys. You're the ones obsessed with blood sacrifice. That is Jesus Christ of Nazareth is blood sacrifice. How are you
released in the spirit realm when someone's blood is innocently shed? They understood. Why do you think they wanted abortion? Because every time those children in the womb are murdered, it gives the devil a legal access and right.
No, man, it's because people die when it's banned, because you shouldn't have religious zealot nutbags banning best practices in medical care, you fucking idiot.
That's why it's a shame that 95% of the pastors of our country, when Roe versus Wade was overturned, that many of us never thought would happen in our lifetime, they never talked about it or celebrated it from their pulpits.
I lost track of what he was saying. I don't know.
Why? Because they cooperate.
Preach it, Pastor. Preach it. God. Like that guy just made me lose it. I can't.
With evil spirits. It is. That makes you Pastor Wuss. It's about legal access. If you can have a blood right, you have certain access. So if we are murdering.
So this is a wild ride. It's all over. He's all over the place and not even finishing his points before moving on to the next conspiracy. I don't know how they're trying to keep up. Like, I don't know. The audience must be used to this or something, because like he's rocketing onto everything. But you can see he's also making like a lot of just weird, dumb little mistakes that I swear he doesn't normally make. I think he's just really, really pissed off about these indictments. I gotta find a more recent video and see how he's like. I'm sure he's like deteriorated. He's all skinny, hasn't slept in 4 weeks or something.
Children, sacrificing them nonstop. It continually releases evil spirits then to have access. If God could come in and wipe that and reverse it like he did, then it shifts the legal access from the court. It brings it to the court of heaven now. It gives God access into our nation.
Wow. So if Trump wins, this is the weirdest shit ever. So if Trump wins and he's the president, then legislation is not coming from Trump anymore. It's not from the Trump administration, anything like that. No, it's coming from fucking heaven, and Jesus Christ, his Lord and Savior, is actually ruling the country because his other Lord and Savior, Trump, is, the president. Wow.
Now watch.
Fucking
Blood and
crazy.
spirit go together.
What
happened after Jesus shed his blood?
It's the spirit.
Holy Spirit came. And we get caught up in politics and we don't discern. This is heaven versus hell. Good versus evil, light versus darkness, and the enemy right now is appearing as an angel of light. And what you're seeing,
oh, there we go. Everybody drink. He said the devil has appeared as an angel of light.
Is not necessarily truth. So you got to go back. What did God say? Look at slide 4, February 10th, 2008. So I've said, I shall cause there to be what would seem like a chess
We're back
match.
on this.
Where there will be this move and this maneuver and that maneuver. Has it seemed that way? And some people have said we're in a...
Hold on. So I have said that I shall cause there to be what would seem like a chess match where there will be this move and that move and this maneuver and that maneuver. Everybody's just like, yeah, man, wow, that couldn't be applied to just literally anything at any time, anywhere, ever. Like that. It's the most ubiquitous
chess match. Some people said it's 5 layers deep. How many ever heard that? God said this in 2008. But God says, in the end, in the what? I will place the one that I've positioned and the one that I said will be platformed. The enemy says he will do this and that, but I say another. I will set up, I will choose, and it shall not be, watch this, by the election of men, but by the placement of the hand of God. There is something here that I shall cause my will to be established. Very soon in this nation, they shall say, it has been crazy and is not the way it should take place, even as they said of the Super Bowl. Matt, hit on that one real quick. What was it about?
Wait, the Super Bowl. All right, hold on. I'm sorry. I got to read some of this. But God says in the end, I shall place the one that I have positioned and the one that I have said will be platformed. Okay. What, man? That's not, none of that means anything. The enemy says he will do this and that, but I say another what? What do you mean? Like, okay, God, this is so dumb. This is like written by somebody that has way too much confidence in how great they are, and like they have way too much confidence in here. But this is a problem with religion right here. It gives you this kind of confidence, and then you just start spilling out nonsense and being like, "That's God. That's God right there." All that. Jesus, I will set up and I will choose, and it shall not be by the election of men, but by the placement of the hand of God that I shall cause my will to be established. Okay. That's all nothing. Like, this could have just applied to literally anything. This could apply to any political anything, anywhere. It's crazy how they do this.
Why would God say it about the Super Bowl that year?
So I remember this. I was in junior high at this time. And what's crazy about this is just a few days prior was the Super Bowl.
Is this his kid? I wonder if this is his kid.
That year. Now, this year specifically, okay, the New York Giants were in the Super Bowl. They barely got into the playoffs as the lowest seed in the NFC conference, okay? And on the AFC side was the New England Patriots, who were undefeated that year. They did not lose a game. They were.
I'm sorry, y'all. Sports ball talk is just not my forte. But
literally going to make NFL history if they win the Super Bowl that year, and they would have went 19-0, which had never been done in NFL history. The New York Giants barely get in. It looked like.
It's funny. I know some people out there are like, this is the best part of the entire conversation because that was football. I'm like into football and stuff. And I'm like, can we just get back to the prophecy, please?
The New England Patriots were absolutely just unstoppable. Nobody could beat them. Everyone's like, there's no way the Giants are going to even have a chance in the Super Bowl. What are they saying now?
Okay, 2008. So before that Super Bowl,
Hold on.
I and Kim Clement, you remember him?
It's funny that whoever's editing this prophetic word person is like, and stupid. Moving on. Stupid. Moving on.
I didn't know him. He didn't know me. And we were called on to go meet with some officials that were representing really the future of America. And he said to me, he said, Hank, you bring your prophecies and I'll bring my prophecies that have never been released before. Because, you know, we were both picking up that we better keep our eye on New York, something significant. So I'll never forget the day he shows up. Of course, I don't know if you guys know who he is. He had long black hair.
I mean, even if you just watch a bunch of movies, you know, and you know nothing about like America except for movies, you'd probably be like, keep your eye on New York. Something's going to happen there. I mean, that's according to all the movies. That's the way everything happens. You know, it's America's like one of two fucking places, you know, New York or LA. That's the movie world right there. That's all that, you know, exists in the movie world.
And boots and different things. And he walks in and he's got this like, looks like an ancient, you know, king scroll, and he's, you know, rolling it out with all these prophecies. I'm like, oh my God. He says, what do you have? And so I just pulled out my little briefcase, my dot matrix, you know. And he looked at me and he goes,
good one.
He goes, why is it that I have long hair, you have short hair? He goes, but when I look at you, I see me and the assignment that God has placed on America. It was really weird. And so we had a
dreams are fucking weird, man. This is just
particular governmental official come in, different ones, and we were ministering over them prophetically, showing them these prophecies to keep your eye on New York, because this is where God would raise up this president. And
bullshit.
There was one particular guy, and I don't want to mention names because I don't want to make him look bad, but they will know that this is absolutely true. I said to him, they said, well, how are we going
that's convenient. Sorry.
to carry this word back and know that this is going to happen, that there is going to be a New York president that's going to get America back on course again? And if we're going to really begin to work for this, how are we? And they said, when is this going to happen? And at that time, Kim didn't have it. I didn't have it until God revealed it in 2011. I'm going to show you where the Lord begins to reveal it now in 2011.
Oh, good.
And,
Good.
and this political guy, I said, the Lord tells me that the New York Giants will be a sign. He stood up, got in my face. He says, well, he goes, I was listening and believing a lot of this until you just told me that. He stood up right in front of me. And Kim's kind of looking at me like, okay. And I said, he said, you know, they have the worst record in the NFL, and no one has ever gone to the Super Bowl with that record. I said, God says the underdog shall win. And the one who, man, I feel the anointing. God, thank you for these words.
Okay.
I remember that. And God said this.
All right, now he's where he's really freaking out. He starts doing his like weirdo thing. All right.
God said this to him. He said, and I'll never forget it because he looked at me shocked. I said, God says something miraculous will take place in the Super Bowl. And you will say, how did this happen to win? But the Spirit of God says, when you see this, the underdog shall win. I speak of the New York Giants, and it will be a giant thing because the one that I will raise up from.
You're just taking words from the thing, man. He was like, and it's gonna be big and giants because of the Giants. You get that, right? That's it. And it's gonna be a big deal because giant, right? You know, underdog, giant. David, Goliath was a giant. Boom, nailed it. What?
From New York shall be an underdog. And they will say, how can this one even make it through the primaries? How many remember that? President Trump was an underdog. He stood against 16 others.
He was not the underdog. He was taking everybody out like immediately.
And yet that prophecy was given that day. And later on, when New York won the Super Bowl and the miraculous thing, I sat back and I said, God, how much more confirmation do we need? Now let's go to slide.
Confirmation bias? You just, I mean, I don't know, as much as you want, I guess. Right?
Sorry. Got new glasses here too. Slide 6. Okay. Slide 6.
Oh, that he's embarrassed.
This one is
that was embarrassing to him. That just shows you where his head's at, where it's not at, really, is what
powerful. Look at slide 6. Do we have that one? Listen to the word of the Lord. America, in your 240th year, shall there be something unusual that will take place upon the land. So when's he telling you? 240th year, that's 2016. When is that prophecy? 2011. So God's telling you ahead of time. He said, I will raise up a voice. Wait, it shall take place first. Shall be the beginning of your what? Now, you would never think so if you look
Stop asking us what. Like, just sit, read the fucking thing, man.
at it. For I will raise up a voice, one who understands commerce and trade and the economy. I will raise them up from where?
Oh my God.
New York, in the 240th year of America's reign. You cannot make this up. God told you when this was going to happen.
I don't know, man. You seen Dune? They made all that shit up. People can make up some interesting shit. I'm just saying.
And there were two from New York. And he says, and I will use their voice to echo throughout the land. And as there are two towers, there will be one who shall represent the economy and one who is wise in the affairs of this nation. God is speaking about President Trump. How many can see it?
What?
Okay. In the 240th year of America's reign.
You called him wise, first of all. So there's no, you're already, no, absolutely not. What?
Who was wise in the economy and the affairs of the nation and commerce?
The guy that was born a millionaire? What?
It wasn't the opponent.
Yeah, it was. Like, she was much more. Anyway,
Right? Let me read you another one. This one is, I found this one, and then we didn't have time to put it in a slide, but I found this one from October 27th of 2010. This is another documented prophecy, but we didn't have time to get it out.
Imagine doing this shit. Imagine writing a bunch of shit down and be like, this will be important one day. And then just like every day you got like hundreds of like little phrases and shit to like pull out and be like, this has to do with today. All of this is completely useless. Why would God work this way? Like, tell you what's actually going to happen and tell you like what's going, like what you can do about it and stuff. Like this is completely useless. This is just post hoc rationalizing after the fact. You're just like, oh man, look, this sort of has something to do with that kind of like, and you've got so much fucking source material. You can make it say anything, for fuck's sake.
But listen to this. The Spirit of God says, many in your land shall say, give us a new president. I think we all felt that in 2010 with who was the one. Yeah. Oh, bummer. I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, because you're racist. That's why you were just racist.
God says, do you understand that by what? 2016. So he's already telling us in 2010, he's telling us 2016. The 240th year of America's reign. He said, lost ground, an unusual plan will be unveiled, and lost ground will be gained back, and I will restore. And God says this, in 2016, it's coming. You will see change, restoration. Your economy will change. Schools will change. Legislation will change and be rewritten. A call for righteousness, an awakening of the hearts.
This shit happens constantly, man. What are you talking about? Everything changes all the fucking time. You're talking like from 10 years ago. Like, holy shit, over 10 years ago. Of course things going to change. Holy
men
shit.
unto me, one by one, little by little. How many of you remember in 2016, that first term? Look at all the things that happened that made America.
I know he's talking about it like it's a king or something. And you said America's reign? What?
Great, and made your life great. It's not because of a man, it's because of God's plan. The Lord begins to sell.
That needs to be a t-shirt. We need to put that, not because of the man, it's because of God's plan. Boom, t-shirt. What?
I'll just read the part in red. So I have raised up a plan, and
God.
I've raised up a what?
Stop
For
asking
this
questions,
reason.
man.
This is
Fucking serious here, man. Stop asking me stuff. Just stop. Just read the fucking thing.
2016. You cannot identify the who. It is because it is about my what. See, we put so much emphasis on the man. And God is saying it's about the plan. It's about the what I'm going to do. I'm going to make America great.
Very good.
But
For there are two things
but you didn't have the foresight to write that phrase, because that I feel like would have possibly been something, even though it could easily be explained by a coincidence. But that at least would have been halfway to something somewhere, you know. And no, he can't even say that.
I shall do.
Wait, he's got it written down. My what? Why does he have? It is about my what? For there are two things I shall do. Like raise up a what? Why would you write that? Okay. Fucking weird, man.
I will raise up a what? And then I will shock you with a who. How many people were shocked? How did this guy make it?
God, this is
And this
weird.
shall be my what? So then why are we attacking it?
What? I'm lost. You've asked
Not
what?
just this.
You've asked what so many times that I forgot what we're talking about, man. You need to get back on topic because you lost me.
Election. But God ain't done
Oh my God.
for the what? Elections to come.
This dude's crazy.
Interesting.
This guy's crazy.
Interesting. All right, let's go to slide 9. Now it's getting more specific. He's telling us the mystery. He's telling us the what.
Damn, somebody's phone went off in the video and I totally thought it was mine.
He's saying, I'm going to unveil the who, but he started giving us hints. July 1st of 2007. Listen to this one. But the one, the who.
Doc Pearson said, I'm still trying to find America in the Bible. It's there. You just got to know where to apply it whenever you feel like it. And you can kind of just put it anywhere you like, as long as you can find any similarities that you can convince stupid people with. It's sort of like that. So everywhere.
The one that will be positioned from the place where you were wounded. Where's that? New York. Shall be
right.
a what? A Solomon. Stop right there. What do they compare President Trump
Solomon?
to? A man of what? Brilliance. Man of wisdom. Brilliance. Right? Solomon.
Who does that? Who's like, yeah, Donald Trump? I think of stoic wisdom. That's what I think of.
Was wise. Solomon had a lot of women problems,
Oh my God.
a lot of wives, a lot of gold. Hello, pay attention to gold.
It's dude, your prophecy is clearly about George Soros. You're getting everything wrong. You got it totally backwards, man. It's George Soros.
He represented a lot of money. I tell you, a lot of money. I think it was a lot of money.
Oh, he does.
Okay, right? Commerce.
I guess he was like losing everybody. And so he has to do an impression real quick to wake everybody back up.
So God's comparing him to Solomon. Now watch this. I will raise up a Solomon to this nation, and I will bring what? Oh, he's the only president there wasn't a war. And yet they accused him of, oh, he's just going to cause a bunch of wars. See, the enemy is what lies to you. And the enemy only reveals what he's threatened by. And so what does the devil do? Counterfeit.
I mean, he literally would say in interviews when asked about foreign policy and things, he was constantly like, I'd nick him, just nick him. Nick him out. I don't care. So yeah, of course we're like, yeah, that dude's gonna start a fucking war. I think he was too dumb to start a war, and I think he might have started a war if what was it, like Iraq or something, like executed one of their guys. That could have easily started a fucking war.
Fit. And then people listen to God's prophets and they think they're lying. And there shall be an end to the war.
And that's stupid because God's prophets, are myself included, of course, are always correct. So
Has been promised to you and your children. Now watch this. Some say, even as Solomon, he has too many wives, they'll say. Oh.
Doug Grissom said every time he says what, you should say chicken butt. I remember that game. Yeah.
And some will accuse.
We must be similar ages. I don't know.
This one, what will they accuse him of?
That's great.
Well, too many wives, women issues, right? Russia. Collusion. Fake dossier.
Oh, right. The seal does, yeah.
Dressing rooms.
What?
I didn't say whether it happened or not. I'm not here to make that point. I'm here to make the point. God said this woman to be accused. And has this one not been accused a lot? The Spirit says it does not what?
It's amazing how they can just not see the reality that the guy just does crimes a lot. He likes doing crimes. In fact, I don't even think he thinks about what is a crime and what isn't. He just does stuff. You know, he's like the Joker. He just does things, you know, uh, and he doesn't care. And now it's just like, yeah, the law is actually something that does exist. And now you're being held like responsible at least a tiny bit, at least enough to make him have to run from the law and possibly go broke trying to stay out of jail, which fine, cool. I'm good with that. That's cool.
Wait, who said that? Ahead of this one that God's been telling you would be raised up. Yet we evangelicals and others get so stinking religious. He did this. He
Yeah, you religious people get religious. I know, it's crazy. It's wild.
did that. He did this. Well, anymore, you're guilty until you got enough money to prove your innocence.
What?
Very true.
God said,
Wait a second. So, like, because he like does and says a lot of fucked up shit, that a lot of religious people that are not insane are like, yeah, but he did this and said this, and that's messed up. He shouldn't have said that. That was immoral or whatever. He's like, you're being religious, and I'm doing this and that. You know, just shut up. He's blessed by God.
it doesn't matter. It's not what a man shall be now.
Fucking
For many
weird,
will
man.
look and say that they are not qualified. For the testimony of Christ is not upon whose lips? Okay, so you know it wasn't.
Well, if you want something else on your lips, you know, you should go to adamandeve.com, enter code word Brently at checkout, and you can get 50% off almost any one item, 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. Just go to adamandeve.com, enter code word Brently, that's Brently, at checkout, and get your exclusive offer. If they do have like discreet packaging as well as like a just everything you could possibly think of in this website. You really got to check it out. It's a lot of fun. I mean, I don't care who you are, what you got going on down there. There's something for you. Okay, that's just a fact of the matter, not a feeling at all. It's a fact because I go with facts, not feelings. This on this show. So hey, thanks all for watching and hanging out. This one was a lot of fun. I'm gonna try to find more of these, and I think I found like a nest egg that'll just keep giving of MAGA prophet and MAGA preacher freakouts. So yeah, we're gonna have to just dive down this for a little bit until it's finished, and you know, and they all move on to the next guy, I guess. But I don't know if that will ever happen in the existence of the world. I don't know if they're ever going to move off of this dude. But yeah, so if you want, you guys, there's a couple different ways you can support the show. If you want to, I do have a Cash App. My cash tag is Apostate, all one word. And we have a Patreon page you can go to. I'll put in the show notes. And you can support us by supporting our sponsor, which is adamandeve.com. So just anything that you buy from there, just put in that code Brently at checkout, and it really does help out the show a lot. And would really appreciate it. But, you know, if you made it this far, you can like and subscribe if you haven't done that. You know, share the show around and all that type of good stuff. And hey, make sure that you stay logical, loving, skeptical, and compassionate. And we will see you next time.